sweet geometry students, this is Miss Briscoe talking about how to factor. So just to remind you, this is something that you learned in Algebra 1 last year, and we're going to need it in geometry. It's going to come up in homework and tests and quizzes, and it's just something that you have to know how to do for forever. It's going to come up in Algebra 2 and Pre-Cal and Calculus. You're just going to need this for the rest of your math career. So hopefully this video is helpful. So we factor things that are quadratics. They have an x squared term. And the way that you are going to factor is you are going to come up with a list of numbers that multiply to give you -8, but add together to equal 2. So I'm going to make a list of factors of -8. So I think -1 and 8, -2 and 4, or I could do +1 and -8, or +2 and -4. Then I want to add those numbers together and check and see what I get. I want them to add up to +2. I want them to add up to +2. So -1 plus 8 is 7. -2 plus 4 is 2. Cha-ching! 1 plus -8 is -7. 2 plus -4 is -2. So it's close, but it's not the same because we want +2, whereas this is -2. So our answer is -2 and 4. Those are the factors that multiply to give you -8, but add up to give you +2. So you're going to factor this in a set of 2 sets of parentheses, x minus 2. X minus 2 is in your first parentheses, and x plus 4 is in your second parentheses. The beautiful thing about factoring is you can check your work. You can check and make sure that you did it correctly by just foiling, multiplying those two together. So x times x is x squared. X times 4 is 4x. -2 times x is -2x. And -2 times 4 is -8. So just clean it up, and you get what we started with. So that means that these factors are correct. All right, so we have factored. We're here. We've factored. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take each factor and set it equal to 0. So x minus 2 equals 0, and x plus 4 equals 0. Add 2 to both sides, so you get x is 2. Subtract 4 from both sides, so you get x is -4. So you have two answers. X is 2, x is -4. Let's say this was on a triangle problem or something. You would need to go plug these values in to the side and check the side. We want the side to be positive. So sometimes, even though you get x as a negative number, if you go plug it into your problem and solve for the missing side or angle or whatever it is that the problem's wanting to find, you plug the x value in and you end up with a positive answer. So don't discard an answer just because it's negative. Oh no, there's my phone. Oh well. Here's the next one. X squared equals 5x minus 6. So the first problem with this one is your terms aren't all on the same side of the equal sign. Before we do factor, we need everything to be on the same side of the equal sign. So I'm going to subtract 5x from both sides and add 6 to both sides because I want to move everything onto the left side of the equal sign. So I'm going to have x squared minus 5x plus 6 equals 0. So now I need to make my list of numbers that multiply to give me 6. So I think of 1 and 6 and 2 and 3. But this one's a little bit different because I have this negative in front of my 5. So I need to think about negative numbers. Do you agree that 2 negative numbers multiply to give you a positive number? So -1 and -6 multiply to give you positive 6. And -2 and -3 multiply to give you positive 6. 2 negatives multiply to give you a positive. So this is my whole list. Then remember, you want to go add all of these together. 1 plus 6 is 7, but I really want it to add up to negative 5. So 2 plus 3 is 5. I want negative 5, not positive 5. So negative 1 plus negative 6 is negative 7. That's not the same thing. And then negative 2 plus negative 3 is negative 5. Ding, 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 ding. We have our winner. So again, I'm going to set up my parentheses. X minus 2, x minus 3 equals 0. Those are really ugly parentheses. My apologies. And then you solve. So x minus 2 equals 0, and x minus 3 equals 0. Add 2 to both sides, you get x equals 2, and x equals 3. All right, and then our last one for this video, x squared minus 4x minus 21 equals 0. We want to come up with a list of numbers that multiply to give you negative 21. So we have negative 1 and 21, positive 1 and negative 21, positive 3 and negative 7, negative 3 and positive 7. Then we are going to add all of those together, and they should add up to equal negative 4. So negative 1 plus 21 is 20. 1 plus negative 21 is negative 20. 3 plus negative 7 is negative 4. Ding, 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 ding. And just to rule it out, negative 3 plus 7 is positive 4. I want it to be negative 4. So when I set up my factors, I get x plus 3 and x minus 7 equals 0. So when you solve, you get x equals negative 3 and x equals 7. And there you go. So this part where you have to make the list, most people after they've been factoring for a long time can start doing that in their head. So you'll become a pro at factoring before you know it, but for now you can use this list as a helpful way to help you come up with your factors. So I hope this was helpful. Remember, this is something you have to know how to do for the rest of your math career. So if you're having trouble with factoring, either look at other YouTube videos about factoring, come to tutorials, or look at your notes from Algebra 1. So there's a lot of resources out there to help you remember how to factor, because this is something that you learned last year in Algebra 1, and it's super duper duper important. Have a great day!